Here's a brief introduction to the Model 1 improved tabletop letterpress. This letterpress is so cute, and it's about 140 years old. It's very similar in most aspects to the larger C&P floor-mounted press, with a few obvious differences. Most notably, it lacks a foot pedal, it operates with a handle, and it's portable on a cart so you can move it around. But there are many similarities, like rollers that come off the press to be cleaned and stored. They have metal instead of plastic trucks on either end, and they slide into a spring-mounted carriage on either side of the press. Here I'm going to install the rollers a few times so that you have the opportunity to see how this press comes together. I'm removing the chase here. There's only one chase for this press and it's really old, so we have to be careful with it. But it's just a miniature version of the one we use on the C&P press. It slides into the bed of the press, and it's held in place by a little clip with a screw. And just like its bigger counterpart, this chase can be loaded up with type or a polymer plate, furniture, coins, and then installed in the press for printing. Here's the thumb screw from behind. There's no need to over-tighten this. Turn the screw clockwise until it just meets some resistance, and then you know your chase is held safely in place. And like always, before you begin printing, anytime you put a chase in, you carefully turn the press over to make sure that everything clears and nothing is getting caught. The rollers on this press are a little fussy to get in simply because the space you have to work in is much tighter than on a larger press. Those metal trucks also have a tendency to want to slip off. It's not a big deal if they do, you just have to try to keep them on, and if they do of course fall off, you put them back in. And like its larger counterpart, this press is spring-loaded, so you have to watch your fingers when you're first putting the rollers in and of course when you're taking them out. So here's another look. Install the far end first, and then using the little handle I pull the spring out, place the axle into its position, and then release the spring. Now I'll do the second roller. There's only 2 rollers on this press. You generally need both of them. There are very few instances where 1 roller is going to be sufficient. Taking the rollers out is a complete reverse operation. Chances are very good that your rollers will have ink on them, so doing what I'm doing here without gloves is going to result in a real mess. This little press is great for printing business cards or small postcards. They were never really used in an industrial sense. They were for gentleman printers, sometimes for children and sometimes for training purposes. But in the context of our studio, it provides a nice other option for printing higher volumes and relatively quickly as we can do in letterpress. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this press is portable. It's on a cart where we keep the rollers and the packing and the tympan and the gauge pins. You can move it around anywhere you like. When you're done, make sure you clean up and put it back in its parking spot.